We back with another one, episode 30.
31.
31?
Yeah, man. When I went and did some editing, I had to take a look at some things.
Oh, so we on 31.
Yeah, we're in that Reggie Miller.
Episode 31. We better. We better than I thought.
That's right.
Episode 31 of the Golf Club Podcast, man. It's been, I ain't gonna say a slow week. For me, I think we just getting more details about everything that's going on with this particular situation I wanted to talk about. But before we get into it, how you feeling, brother? You know, I always like to ask how you doing before we just jump right off into the big.
No doubt. Feeling good, man. The weekend is vastly approaching. A longer weekend this week if you go to a plantation.
I need all this. Exactly. I need all this. They've been killing me at work.
For real,
I need
man.
all this weekend, for sure. And man, good to hear you doing good, brother.
And how's everything with you, the fam, the kids?
Same old, man. You know, they trying to work me to death, but I'm keeping my head above water.
Hey, that's the only way you got to do it.
Yeah.
So this is
that's the attempt.
So this is our second remote. Once again, you're yonder place, and I'm at the studio.
Yeah, man.
But I think we'll be good on this one.
At the remote. Yeah, man. So our apologies for the audio. We were working through some things. I know some people were saying that the audio was a little low for the last joint. I think we got a good handle on it this time. It should work a little bit better. But as always, we appreciate y'all listening and tuning in, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, so we definitely gonna keep cranking these out. As long as I can remember what number we on, I think we'll be straight. Yo, but I know the story kind of broke like maybe a week and a half ago. And for good reasons, on purpose, I wanted to wait until we got some more details in regards to what's going on. But the partnership with Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and the NFL, so still some unanswered questions in regards to what role Jay-Z and Rock Nation will play with the NFL. Mm-hmm. But the information that we do have is that it should be something in regards to the upcoming halftime Super Bowl for the 2019-2020 season.
Yeah.
Also some outreach programs and some equality programs that's going to be going on with the NFL.
As they say, what is it? Social injustice initiatives.
Yes, social injustice initiatives. Still some vagueness, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But right away, Jay-Z definitely received quite a bit of backlash in regards to partnering up with the NFL. You disagree?
Yeah.
I think the backlash was prevalent. I thought it was there.
Keep going with your thought. I don't want to interrupt you, man. Set us up.
Yeah. So I at least from what I've seen, I don't want to say that it's all been negative, mm-hmm. but definitely been some backlash about him partnering with the NFL after at one point in time backing Kaepernick, and that is not to say that he's no longer backing Kaepernick. I don't want to say that. But he was obviously a huge voice and a focal point in the awareness that Kaepernick was trying to bring. He's been openly criticized by Dolphins wide receiver Kenny Steele and Panthers. I think he still plays for the Panthers. Panthers safety Eric Reed, who
I think he's still there.
They have also been very vocal in regards to the social awareness that Kaepernick was bringing to the police brutality. Let's not lose sight that that's the entire reason why he was kneeling in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, Jay-Z was asked, would he kneel in an event? And Jay-Z said we're beyond kneeling.
Yeah.
So I think people got caught up in the we're beyond kneeling part and didn't look beyond or listen beyond what he said. He said the kneeling was necessary, but now he wants to move on to more actionable items. Both Kenny Stills and Eric Reed took offense to him saying actionable items because they feel like the kneeling is still necessary. Now, I don't think that you have to stop kneeling, but I do agree with Jay-Z to continue to press forward with more actionable items. Before we delve deeper into this, what are your first initial thoughts, bro? When you first heard this, what were your initial thoughts when you heard about the Jay-Z NFL partnership with Rock Nation?
I thought it was some BS. Because for years, what was one of the main reasons, or the main reason, why Jay-Z was not performing at the Super Bowl? It was due to the lack of representation, right? So
he's openly said that.
Yeah. So with the Colin Kaepernick situation, then it became a protest for the people, if you will. So for me, before I heard any conversation, because before we had the interview, we had the alerts and the blurbs, all that stuff came out in social media, NFL.com, all of that jazz. And I thought of it as how, me being me, how dare you, how dare you now you're going to do this when you pretty much had a whole album against the NFL. You didn't say the NFL by name, but inadvertently you called out the NFL and everything on 444. So now you partner with them. The first thing I thought about, ownership and money grab. That's the first thing I thought about. Now we fast forward and we get the interview. The interview, there were points within the interview where he was able to articulate his thought in a very well-conceived manner. But there were portions of the interview where I felt like his real thoughts were showing, then he backed them up. In turn, meaning he backed away from them. When he mentioned we're done with kneeling, that's over with. But he understand why we had to kneel. Now, when I heard that, I was like, wow, that the audacity, because Martin Luther, they didn't ever stop marching even though we were past that. They didn't stop sitting in even though we was past that, because that's part of the effort. That's part of the whole dichotomy or the methodology in terms of what we're trying to do. So the kneeling is a representation of what we're looking to see. So when he said that, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I don't think we'll ever be past kneeling, because that's the symbol. We still hold up the black fist to this day as a sign of what? Of our power, black power.
Yeah.
So you can never discredit the optic of how powerful that was for Kaepernick, Reed, and all of the other brothers, and even the white brothers that shared that moment with them. And to me, it sounded like, okay, let's get off this and let's get to what we are now. Me, quote unquote, my opinion, King Jay-Z, being at the seat to get this bag or this money. You not making no change for me with no Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I don't need no Super Bowl performance to invoke change. I don't need you sitting up in the ownership chair to change. You know what I mean? So I want to know more of what this initiative is. I can't really give a full, concise thought because we don't know what the deal is. We don't know what he's going to do until he does it. But I'm 50-50 in how it came about, and him laughing with Goodell, and the optics didn't work right for me based upon how he's always, administered his thought and his feelings in terms of the NFL, Goodell, and how the Good Boys Club work.
Okay. I did that. I'm with you to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't want to say recant, but there are some things or some points in times in that interview where it feels like he wanted to be candid and poignant, and then, like you said, he kind of held back. And with Jay-Z being as smart and as articulate as he is, and a guy who obviously he knows how to speak and put words together, I felt like that was a very opportune time to give more clarity in regards to what was going on and how this is going to, how he can invoke change with this new found power.
And you know
Now,
what?
I
Just
still think he has. No, go ahead.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
I still think he has the opportunity to do that. I truly believe, and maybe it's just because I'm an optimist, I truly believe that that was one of the reasons why he initially did this anyway, is because he wants a position of power to invoke change. Mm-hmm. Let's not even glance over the fact that we know this is also about the bag.
Yeah.
Jay has always been about the dough.
Absolutely.
I don't expect him to not be now. He isn't the person who he is, and he isn't in this position without being about getting his money. Mm-hmm. Because there are other people who are as articulate and as powerful enough to move the black community, but don't have the same level of influence as a Jay-Z, but they picked the right guy. They picked the right guy to do it. And I don't, and when I say they picked the right guy, that's not a knock on Jay-Z. I really just want to say that I think just as this was a calculated decision for Hov, it was a very calculated decision for Roger Goodell in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. That's very key. That's very poignant, because if you juxtapose all of that, he is the right guy, just like his wife is the right woman. When you mention Jay-Z, that name holds weight in any forum for a black man. So what the NFL did was very, very calculated. You got a beehive and you got Jay-Z and his runners, right? People that follow Jay-Z. People think Jay-Z can do no wrong. People think Beyonce can do no wrong. So the NFL brought that entity into the NFL, saying, okay, let's kill however many stones we can, but let's also gain from this as well. So we know it's twofold because that's business. And Jay-Z, key when you said was the right man to do it. They could have easily got Will Smith. They could have easily have gone and said, okay, Williams sisters, Venus and Serena, you had a little chunk of the Miami Dolphins. Let's give you a bigger stake. They could have easily done that. But Jay-Z, being who he is in social culture and the climate and the way he's viewed amongst the African Americans, our brown brothers and sisters, as well as the white populace, perfect fit. Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. More than anything, before I overly praise or overly condemn Jay-Z for this move, I want to see what the next step is. I want to see what the initiative is. Where is this going to lead to?
It's taking too long for me. It's taking too long for me. The season start next week. I don't want you to start showing your initiative week 1 of the season. Once you made that announcement or you decided to place that video on your website and in social media, right after that should have been your first initiative. Let me see you're doing something now. Now, if we don't get anything until Super Bowl, no, I'm not for that. I don't want no behind the scenes stuff. I want everything that Jay-Z, Roger Goodell, the NFLPA, the coalition, everything they're doing. I want it to be presented in the forefront. I know that may be me being greedy and me thinking, a little outlandishly. But the way the climate is now in society and the backlash that he's gotten 50-50, something should have been presented after they left that meeting, already in the tuck.
So, as long as he has a plan, I don't think that, and I'm pretty sure he does. As long as he has a plan, you're right about one thing. He cannot wait to the Super Bowl to unveil this plan or to finally say, "Oh, this is what I've been working on all of this time."
I really got a feeling it's just going to be him performing, and we're going to be happy, and it's going to be all over.
I don't think
I hope that's not the case.
The black community is not going to let him get off the hook with just a performance.
But it's Jay-Z, man. It's Jay-Z.
I know. And here's the reason why I give him the benefit of the doubt already. Is one, he is a huge voice in the community, and he has already invoked change. And he's already started to talk about social injustices. He's already highlighted that, not only in his music but also in his actions.
Yeah, but I agree.
In the NFL, when it comes to partnering with the NFL, not saying that Jay-Z wasn't global before, but the NFL is so captivating and it has such a huge spotlight on it. Jay-Z can't go about his philanthropic ways the same anymore. Jay-Z did a lot of things behind the scenes, and then when things came out, he didn't speak on it just because, it's like, I don't really need to speak on it. I'll let my actions speak, and it's behind the scenes stuff. Like how he helped 21 Savage, and how he helped Meek, and the Khalif Browder documentary.
And even on a smaller scale, lending out his lawyers to those that was wrongfully convicted, getting those out on Mother's and Father's Day that couldn't afford bail. So yeah,
those are big things that he's done, and it hasn't garnered a large amount of media attention. But this is the NFL; everything is media, and everything is attention. So when you partner with an entity or a conglomerate as big and as powerful as the NFL,
good word.
Your moves have to be very calculated, but they're also going to be very, very public, and they are going to be scrutinized, and they are going to take a fine-tooth comb and go through everything that you're doing. So it has to be absolutely on point. I feel like he can pull this off.
Do you think he'll be handcuffed?
Very few people who can pull this off. Say that again?
Do you think he'll be handcuffed? In terms of is his clout big enough to where, because they're not going to give him free reign.
No, and if you're the NFL, let's be honest. This is for the NFL. This is about money. The NFL won't give him that. But if you're Jay-Z, you have to almost kind of take a Dave Chappelle-like approach in pushing the envelope. So,
how much of the envelope?
Because it's also something that's very fresh. Is the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones?
I ain't watched it.
stand-up special that just came out. If you ain't watched it, I don't want to spoil it for you. First of all, it's very funny, but he pushes the envelope in regards to some of the things that he says. Some of the topics that he talks about, it's a bit sketchy. It's a bit on the cusp of, ooh, man, I can't believe he said that. We need Jay-Z to do that in a way, in a realm of waking up the masses in regards to the social injustices.
It will not happen. It won't happen.
And here's the thing. If I know that the NFL is going to have a huge eye on this, and they are going to be very mindful of what's going on. And if that's what it takes, then it's okay. Because all we need, I hate to say it's okay, because you would hate to see such a great position of power taken away for just bringing light to a situation.
But does Jay-Z need the NFL to do those things that you're speaking of.
No, he doesn't. But if you have this platform and you have the ability to reach millions,
so Jay-Z can't meet millions by himself, because the NFL game is national. It's not really global.
It's not. It's starting to be global. But what has also happened to the NFL in its viewership over the last couple of years? Gone down.
Yep.
And if you look at the statistics of who is still watching the game, or let me rephrase, of who is stopped watching the game, is minorities.
Mm-hmm.
Minority men and women have stopped watching the game. Who better than to bring those back? So if you have something for opening day or opening week, and you say, oh, Jay-Z is doing such and such, and he uses whatever this newfound platform is, black people are going to watch it.
So how was that different? So how was that different than what JD was doing last year or tried to do? Is it just the name factor?
No. It is the name factor. Let's keep it all the way 100. Although JD is a megastar, he's an icon in music, and he's another guy who has a very vast philanthropic background, but he doesn't garner the same attention as a Jay-Z. So, but they are doing very similar things. The main thing that I want to do, the main thing that I should say this, the main thing I want to see is he spoke directly to actionable items. If you speak to actionable items, now we need to see what those are. What are those actionable items?
Absolutely.
If we're moving beyond the kneeling, let's get a good feel and a good grasp of what these actionable items are. I don't want him to just say the whole actionable items thing just to shut us up for a couple of months. I need to see that. I need to see what that's going to be. What is that going to entail? How are you partnering? How does this partnership with the NFL help social injustice and the awareness of police brutality? The only thing that we know of right now is that you're partnering with possibly the greatest form of entertainment in American history. It's no longer baseball. Let's cut the crap.
Yeah, that's
our pastime. But the greatest source of entertainment in American history is football now.
Yep.
I know baseball has been around for 100 years, but football has easily surpassed it over the last 15, 20 years.
And it's going to be longer than that. I would say probably the last 50.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm with you on that. So now that you have this mega platform, and you've already said it's time to move to actionable items, we don't want to get lost in the shuffle. I need this huge spotlight to be utilized in the best way. Jay-Z has a brilliant mind. I expect this to be, whatever his move is, it should be nothing short of earth-shattering in regards to how you should be able to wake up the nation.
If we get that Rockefeller reunion,
social injustice and police brutality,
it's gonna be on and popping if we get that.
That's I mean, in my opinion, that's
you ain't hear what I said. I was ignorant. I'm sorry, dude. You ain't hear me.
No, I ain't hear you. What you
I said we get that Rockefeller reunion.
All right, if we get Petey Crack on stage,
I was just about to say that, man. If Petey Crack come up there
with the ring,
for real, man. Whatever you say, Jay-Z, is all right with me, bro.
Yo, if we could get that going,
so we'll get Young Chris back.
Beans, if we could get Beans, the Young Guns, Kanye, Dame Dash, all in the same room on the same stage.
Oh, Dame ain't coming back, man.
And Cam?
Dame ain't coming back.
Dame has some choice words for this whole NFL thing with Jay-Z. He said that I don't want to mix up his words. I believe he said he was a sucker. Jay always been a sucker. when it comes to stuff like this. Forgive me if I'm quoting him wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty spot on with what he said. But he said that Jay's always been about the money grab. He don't care who he steps on to do it or how to get it. I can't sit here and act like that's wrong because we can't say that Dame doesn't know him.
Yeah.
I mean, these dudes shared everything when it comes to business and business ventures and deals and contracts. They shared all of that for the beginning of their career. They absolutely had to lean on each other and trust
better
each
part
other
of a decade
in regards to the business ventures that went on. And we really only continue to get one side of this story, which is from Dame.
And I believe every word of it.
As of right now, we can't. We don't have any choice but to, because Jay-Z continues to not want to speak on behalf of.
Because he don't care, because he's getting the bag.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at it, Dame ain't the only one who's saying this about Jay-Z. I mean, we've heard it from Bean, we've heard it from Jazz-O, we've heard this on multiple occasions. Kareem Burke spoke to it a little bit.
But he back in the good graces now, so he's not going to say nothing else.
But right. Yeah, they're not going to say much about it. He ain't going to say too much about it because they got some money moves going on over there. But ultimately, that is something that we've never really quite got Jay-Z's side of. But when it comes to this NFL partnership, man, I expect this to be huge. And if it's anything less than huge or very eye-opening to the masses, then I believe it's a failure. It's no way you can have a platform and a seat of power to this magnitude and you not invoke change and awareness on an extremely large scale.
Now, the thing about that as well, I just thought about this, and it wasn't fair for me to make my comment I made before without sharing this or stating this first. There's a process in being granted, if you will, quote unquote, any type of franchise. So this may well be 2 years down the road before we see the full initiative, quote unquote. But for the right now, I'm very eager to see what he's going to do before he has a franchise. I'm not talking about the halftime joint. I think we've gone past that as what the initiative is. I want to see what this social injustice reform and what is he going to do. I don't want because anything that he does will be a plus no matter how big or small it is, but I'm just eager to see, like you, what's going to be the first step and what is going to happen after that.
I agree. I think you should do. Here's the way, at least in my mind. If I'm Jay-Z, I'm starting off the season with a bang. It's got to be something that captivates the masses, because you don't have a larger form of viewership in the NFL season than you do with opening week and then with the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So when you have the most attention on you is when you got to come the hardest. So I think you have to start off the season with an absolute bang. And then throughout the season, you do small things here and there to invoke change, continue to show awareness, to continue to show that if you're saying that this is about actionable items and that we're moving past kneeling, then I need to see that on a consistent basis.
I think it's going to be.
You got to start with a bang.
I think it's going to be February heavy, because each month now it seems that there's some form of month that the NFL dedicate a week to. If it's a salute for the troops, children's cancer, if it's breast
breast cancer.
cancer
Yeah, all of that.
awareness. So don't give me a token February something and it turns into a cleat war. I don't want that because that's playing down to me.
I agree. And February takes too long.
Yeah. And you can't do
I
anything
need
in
something in
February
the
because it's the playoffs and Super Bowl.
exactly. You need whatever. Here's why. Here's still my train of thought. You start off something huge week one.
So when
You
you say
have to.
huge, well, what are you referencing? What would be considered huge outside of a concert or a mega ad?
The Monday Night Football. When they always do a song, the opening song for Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
You could do something like that. But then that performance or whatever that is, it's got to be something that evokes change or speaks to the social injustice. I need that. I need something like that that's going to captivate the world.
I don't think we're going to get that.
That is going to open eyes.
Because whatever we're going to get, it's going to be subliminal. Because, you still have the 30, 32 owners that you have to appease to. You can't change the whole format for Jay-Z and whomever. So they have to agree on that. So I don't think they're going to get the glory at the beginning of the show. I mean, of the game, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking whatever he does is going to be more as commercials and spots for the NFL. Maybe each city has an initiative outside of what the franchise already does, what that individual team does. He may show up in more appearances, places, may be able to get more celebrities to come help him do things. But I think as of right now, it's going to be more awareness on spots in terms of ads or plugs, things like that. Maybe NFL, films do an initiative on African American greats from the NFL, things like that. That's why I think it's more of the approach because he can't get out there and just do a whole, you know, he can't beat down pretty much the hand that's kind of, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it, that's feeding him.
Then, if that's the case, then this partnership, you aren't going about this partnership in the right way. In my opinion,
I don't see where for me, for Jay-Z, in order for this to be a success, and it's impossible for him to get 100% of the populace, meaning Black America, to agree with what he's doing. Whatever he does, it's not going to be enough for somebody, but it has to be enough for at least 70-75% for us to be like, okay, Jay-Z did. You're going to have that 25, 35 that's not going to agree with it. But but like you saying, it can't be weak and it can't be something that feels like filler or fluff just because you want this to add to the portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, and right. I don't want to see him like show up to like a primetime Giants game with a Philando Castile shirt on or something. That's not enough. That's not invoking change. I don't want him to like have on a Eric Gardner leather jacket or something.
Yeah.
If that's the case, we beyond that too.
Yeah, that's corny.
That, in my opinion, is no better than kneeling. You told me actionable items.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. So what I'm expecting is, in the beginning of kickoff of the opening game week one or the primetime Sunday night game, that I see like I don't know, like a montage of police brutality video or something showing some awareness like that.
You ain't getting that, man.
I know it's gotta be censored. I'm just
you ain't getting no eyes on the prize, man.
I'm just spewing off the top of my head right now, just some random idea. But we need something that's going to open the eyes of the man.
You know what I see?
Something, and it's got to be something that's going to stir the pot, that's going to make some people mad. But ultimately, we have to remember what this is all about. This is about social injustice and police brutality.
This is going to be inner city high school. We're going to refurbish your football field and give you new uniforms.
That's not enough. He's doing that already.
I'm telling you,
that's
man.
I'm
hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that's not the case. But the feel of that interview that Jay-Z had, I know it was the opening stages, it was the beginning stage, and I know they want it to be laid back and, you know, we chilling, I'm the commissioner, this is the first time you don't see me in my navy or my black suit. But no, for something like this affecting my people, I want you in what you are always in. Don't lay back with me because this is serious. Don't come in there, Jay-Z, with your baseball cap and your cargo shorts. That doesn't show serious to me. It shows that y'all was having a conversation and this just so happened to come up. All right, get your tape ready. That's how I feel. I want the press conference should have been just like any other press conference you have when you have groundbreaking news. Because this is huge to the people.
Yeah.
And the only reason we still talking about it is because he said the kneeling. Now, I guarantee if he didn't say we're past kneeling, it would be, oh, Jay-Z about to get an NFL team. If he didn't mention Kaepernick or anything like that, we wouldn't be talking about it.
And I'm okay if this, I am absolutely okay if this culminates to Jay-Z getting an NFL team. But then again, man, nobody said this better than Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
You feel me? I mean, let's be all the way real with it. You are going to be looked at as the accumulative representative for black people in the NFL everywhere. Whether you want to be that or not, you are now going to all of a sudden become the black voice of the NFL.
Yo, my bad, pause. I'm watching the Cubs game. Victor Caratini can't speak English.
I don't know.
This dude got an interpreter. He got an interpreter up here. I'm sorry, I digress, man.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Hey, I didn't even know that he was in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry, man. You probably was saying something dope too, man.
He probably was. Go Cubs.
That's about you was saying something dope, man, and I done went up here done got ADHD'd.
It be like that sometimes.
Yeah, but yeah, you go ahead.
I want this to be very thought-provoking. This needs to be something that's going to stir the pot in the minds of millions. And it has to. Anything less is a failure. The reason why is because you already set this up. Because you said we're beyond kneeling and you need actionable items. Okay, Jay-Z. All right, Sean Carter, you're right. I'm with you. You are absolutely correct in the fact that we need actionable items. So now you got to show me. If we're at that moment and you're not delivering that right away, then you deserve all of the backlash that you're getting. You have the voice of the people right now. Whether you want to or not, you will be looked at as the voice of the black people when it comes to the NFL. You just took that spotlight off of Kaepernick.
Yep.
It was Kaepernick who was the voice of the black people because he was leading the charge. He was showing change, and he did that at the expense of losing his job. That was never the mindset. That was never what he was wanting to do, but that's what he was willing to do to make sure that he got his point across. Now, Jay-Z, we expect the same. We expect you to be willing to lose this NFL job or this NFL partnership.
Lose it all.
Lose it all at the expense of making sure that you're going to bring awareness to social injustice and police brutality. I expect nothing less. Because here's the thing. Even if you lose that position, You gain the solitude and the solidarity and the the unity of black people behind you. No matter what's going on, black people gonna be able to move mountains with whatever we face with. The NFL can blackball you all day, but you didn't need the NFL to become a billionaire. You didn't. So let's say the NFL blackballs you. So what? You became a billionaire without them. Black people still gonna have your back. We gonna still support you in any way, unless this is a letdown. And then you got to live with that for the rest of forever.
Yep. Because then, if this is a failure, my first word I'm saying, I'm calling you Uncle Tom. I'm calling you a sellout. When I saw the interview, I told my guy, I said, now why aren't we reacting the same way we're reacting? I mean, we were reacting to Kanye. Yeah, there are two different things, but if you look at it at the principle of each, it's kind of the same.
I agree.
And we were off Kanye quick, but once again, when I mentioned King J, Queen B, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We want to see what's next.
I agree with that part. I agree.
Because I ain't want to listen to no Jay-Z album, nothing. I was like, I'm through. I am done. And I'm done. I kid you not. I'm done. Well, he lucky Rhapsody is on Rock Nation. But other than that, I'm done until I find out what he's going to do. Because I think this was a sucker move.
Well, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I said I was, but I've always been consistent with giving. I gave Kanye the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
So that's just me. Until I get it all out there, I can't jump to conclusions, especially with the way that he set it up. In my opinion, he set this up for us to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's almost like he said, like, yo, I got something in the tuck. I got something planned. We gonna be all right. And it's like, okay, Ho, I've been riding with you this long. I'm gonna continue to ride with you. But you didn't set this up to be nothing less than an astronomical move and push forward for black people.
And he has, I guess for me, I have to get past that. And it was years ago that I never will. That's what I have to get past. Because I'm a holder to people in their words, and I know that things change, ideals change, thoughts change. I know that. But when you say I never will because this, that's heavy. And then for you to do what you said you wouldn't do, and the optics, once again, that's the word, my word of the day is optics. Looks like you're in it for what you can gain monetarily. I have kind of got an issue with it. But once again, you've coaxed me over to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think my leash is as long as yours.
And rightfully so. I'm skeptical myself. Everybody who has any shred of skepticism in regards to what's going on, you have every right to feel like that, because the way that this is set up, it has so much uncertainty around it. The news is vague. The details are vague. So we can't be gullible and just say, oh man, Jay-Z's gonna hit a home run and this is gonna be, as big as Martin Luther King, walking down to Washington. We can't say that. We don't know that. It would be naive of us to be that gullible and say that this is going to be as thought provoking as the Million Man March. We don't know. We can only hope. But the way he set it up is that we need to move on to actionable items. I won't let that phrase go.
No, we shouldn't.
Because you basically said that Kaepernick, I feel you. Thank you for doing what you did, but I got it from here, bro. That's basically what I heard when you said that the kneeling was necessary, but now it's on to actionable items. What I took,
and that's what I got. You're no longer needed.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I literally felt like this is the best analogy is like a relay team and you handing off the baton. I felt like that's what Jay-Z is. At least that's what I'm hoping is happening here.
And a lot
When
of the
you tell
pundits,
me,
that's what they're saying, that this is a relay.
mm-hmm.
Colin, you ran the first leg. Now we're moving on to the second. I get that narrative too, but that's what a lot of the pundits, I really don't listen to First Take, but for Undisputed, Skip and Shannon, that's where they was referencing. And of course, they had Michael Eric Dyson on there, and he mentioned the same
Okay.
thing, that this is verbatim what you just said. This is a relay, and
Oh,
Kaepernick
really?
and Kaepernick has done his part. But I think as the mover and the shaker, his part will never be over because he should always be the face. Always. He sacrificed
He has.
for
And
something that
I
didn't
don't want to
even
go off of
involve him, but it involved his people. That's a huge
I mean,
sacrifice.
it's huge. And I know that, he came to an agreement and a settlement with the NFL and all of that, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't take away what he sacrificed, what it's meant to him, what it's meant to his family, and the scrutiny that he's got from the nation in regards to the way that he's conducted himself off the field since. Now, I still truly believe everything that he's done was necessary. I believe that what Kenny Stills has done and what Eric Reed has done and every other player, white, black, and whoever, has done to stand in arms together to show unity and awareness to the police brutality and the social injustices for minorities in the United States. But now, Jay-Z has shifted the focus, whether it was intentional, unintentional, whether it was selfish or
prisoner of the moment.
Not. You shifted the attention from Kaepernick, and you basically said, "It's on me now. I got it from here." So all of this rests on his shoulders at this moment.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm going to fix it.
But you got to not only step up, but you got to show out at this point. You have to. Anything less than you stepping up and showing out is an utter and complete failure. Because you said that kneel is over with, is we done with for the kneeling. Okay, cool. But if we done with that, you take us to that next step. Help us elevate. Kaepernick has done a phenomenal job with highlighting the injustices and bringing awareness to what we need to. But if you say that the kneeling is done and it's time for us to elevate the actionable item, all right, ho, take us to the next level. That's the only, I expect nothing less than for you to take this to the next level. Anything else is an utter and complete failure.
I agree.
It's nothing more than that. And we cannot wait until February. We cannot. This is time. Now, I mean, me personally, that maybe it might be me just being a bit overzealous, maybe a bit aggressive, just saying something needs to happen in week one. I wish it would. I don't know if it does. But if it doesn't, we cannot wait until February for some just big-ass concert.
Yeah.
That ain't going to cut it.
It should happen week one because you can't.
Concert is not going to cut it.
You can't tell me that these talks weren't happening months in advance. You don't just be like, yo, I'm about to meet with Roger Goodell. Yo, I'm about to meet with Sean Carter, and we just about to make a deal. No, the deals may not be finalized, but talks have been had months in advance.
Yeah.
So week one,
you don't, because the NFL don't do nothing on the whim. This is calculated. They've been thinking about this for a while, and Jaden had this in the tuck for a while. And as much as I would love to see a Rhapsody, Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Kanye, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna concert, I would love that for the Super Bowl. It would be the greatest Super Bowl halftime show ever. But if that's all we getting, this is an utter and complete failure. And I guarantee you'll have more people boycott that than they have the entire season.
Normally when you get a lot of money, And when you make a lot of money, if you've made a lot of moves, you've now feel that you may be smarter than the contingency, smarter than those that support you. You'll be surprised how smart the masses are to call you on some BS, and then Jay-Z will be out of here. Because if he messed this up, he might as well just get all his money, him, Blue Ivy, the twins, and Beyonce, and just chill. I don't want to say he's done, but it's the way these new kids turn on entertainment stars, entertainers, if you will.
Yeah,
it's going to be over. Because this is going to be a black eye you can't come from. I mean, because you've placed our hopes and our wishes, pretty much our prayers, are in line in what you're doing. Not saying that someone else won't come along and, make a bigger change, a more powerful entity, if you will. But for Jay-Z to take this mantle, to hold this up as the beacon of light for social injustice, this is how it's portraying to me. He has to do something huge, and it has to be outside of the sports scale. Once again, don't want no gyms, don't want no football fields, don't want no donations. Those are all accepted, but I need you to put the scope on America and whatever you're doing with NFL, because the rich white man is watching. Now, how much are you going to be able to do that? That's where I kind of get iffy. You can't pull the covers off too much.
That's the main person we need to wake up.
But we can't pull that covers off too much, man. We can't show the feet.
Who's watching? That's the demographic we trying to reach.
White America ain't gonna let you expose it all. And
of course not.
That might not even be his mindset to do so. He may not even be thinking of trying to expose. But whatever he does, it has to be a benefit to our culture, not hip hop culture. It has to be a benefit to the black man, the black woman, the black boy, the black girl, the black household. We have to see some benefit. I don't know how much of it he can do. We may be hoping and wishing, and this may be something that can't get fixed. But music does bring people around, but we're past kumbaya, if you will. If we're past kneeling, we're past music bringing the masses together. We tried that with We Are the World, and you see where we are now. Music is not going to cut it.
No. This needs to be bigger than music. It has to be bigger than music. Now, one thing that's going to always bring us together is music.
Yeah.
So I'm not, by no means am I saying don't incorporate music. It would be foolish for us to think that this deal won't incorporate music in some way. It should. That's what he does best. And if anything, that's what we know is going to be incorporated, is that some form of entertainment. If you think of Jay-Z and you think of entertainment, you think, okay, this is going to have something to do with the music. And that's cool. That is the only thing that I'm already expecting. It's got to be bigger than that. Though.
That's why you about to get these Super Bowl shows for 1 year, and he going to be off the NFL, and it's going to be back to the norm. Hello, Bruce Springsteen, Iggy Pop.
If all we get...
You keep saying that. If all we get is a halftime.
I mean, cause dog, it's like...
It was a waste of time.
Yeah. It's, man, listen, here. It's just like, I don't want no knockoff shit. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. If your favorite cereal is Fruit Loops and mommy comes home with Fruitios, you're a little disappointed, right? It's like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't cutting it. It's like, I want the real deal. So if you give me a halftime show, that's not going to be enough for me. I don't think it's going to be enough for Black America. It will not be. It won't be. And Jay-Z will be condemned for it to the highest degree. I mean, far worse than what we've seen with Kanye. Far worse than what we've seen with how they did JD. Far worse than the way that whoever, it don't even matter who that. Far worse than what we've seen with Kaepernick, the way that the NFL blackballed Kaepernick, the way that the NFL blackballed Janet Jackson. If Jay-Z doesn't come through and facilitate these actionable items in the correct way, he will be blackballed by the same community that built him up to who he is now. Jay-Z is the closest thing that we have to a god in the black community. He is. Because he has so many things that relate back to who we are. He came from nothing. He came from the dirt. He a hustler. He persevered. He made it happen. He got the girl. He got the money. But if you do all of that, and it's finally time for you to have our back, not saying that he hasn't before. Again, I don't want to take away from the fact that all of the great things that Jay-Z has done already. But you got to understand that the way that you set this up, you set this up to say that, hey, we done kneeling, and it's time for me to take it to the next level. If you don't take it to the next level with the NFL, it's over with. It's over with. And I don't think there's any way you can come back from it.
I agree.
As of right now, man, the only thing that we can do is hope that he comes through. It ain't like he fails a lot. For the most part, Jay-Z is on point with the way that he conducts himself. I'm still optimistic that he'll conduct himself in the right way here. And I'm hoping that we get something grand. This has got to be huge. This has got to be amazing. It's got to be nothing short of a phenomenal display of solidarity and togetherness for the black community. If we get anything other than that, I would be disappointed.
I agree.
Otherwise, I would have rather than partnered up with Charlemagne. Charlemagne would have did this shit right.
For real.
I'm gonna be honest. Charlemagne would have did this shit right.
You're right. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, me too, man. At this point, it's a wait and see type thing. So I'm anxious to see what happens and to see what comes of this. I know the rest of America is. A lot of people already have they preconceived notions of what will and won't happen. So I really want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from the people, man. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel about the situation. Do you think Jay-Z can come through with these actionable items? Do you think he's already a sellout? Or do you think that he's going to come out of this unscathed or even more so, he's going to go down in history as one of the biggest icons and one of the biggest people to fight for us in regards to social injustice and civil rights.
If you get it right, he will.
I want to hear what y'all think, man.
Yep, that's all we got, man. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms, the Twitters, the Instagram, what else we got? Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, all at the Wrap Up Podcast. No, Wrap Up Pod, I'm sorry. All at the Wrap Up Pod.
Wrap Up Pod. Yeah. That's the goal, man. It's a wrap on 31. We'll definitely get in tune for the next one. Y'all keep looking out for us. Peace.
All right, that's a bow.